Trump is now talking about peace, while the Pentagon is sending 10,000 more troops to the region. Are we facing a historic agreement today, or is this the biggest military deception operation to invade Iran by land? At the same time that Iran shoots down American aircraft worth $240 million, the leaders of Tehran are strangely silent. Why? What is the secret behind this silence? Today, we will reveal to you the secret behind the return of negotiations. Why has this naval blockade become just an imaginary blockade that exists today only in Trump's statements? And why has America started thinking about replacing its traditional allies with Iran, making Iran the dominant power in the region? How is that possible? This is our topic today. Stay with us. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome to our renewed meeting today, God willing, in this episode of the Opinion series, which we always dedicate to following the latest developments and updates in the ongoing conflict in the Middle East between Iran and the Epstein Alliance. Today, dear viewers, while President Trump is talking about the possibility of reaching a political agreement with Iran soon, which would lead to the opening of the Strait of Hormuz and thus the end of the war, we find that the U.S. Department of Defense has ordered the deployment of an additional 10,000 American soldiers in the Middle East. So today, dear viewers, there was a visit to Iran by a Pakistani delegation led by the army chief. The goal is to pave the way for the start of the second round of negotiations between Iran and America. America says it is very optimistic today and says there are signs confirming that the Iranians really want an agreement. Even the US Vice President J.D. Vance said that America's main goal now is to resolve this crisis through negotiations, not through war. But at the same time, we see America sending more troops to the Middle East. With a number reaching 10,000 soldiers, or even more than 10,000 soldiers, to be added to the current number in the region, which is about 50,000 soldiers, this raises many questions. What is America planning? Is it the same plan that Netanyahu used before? Does it mean putting pressure on Hamas and putting pressure on Hezbollah and other things? Is it the same plan that Trump is relying on today to pressure Iran, or what? Is Iran the same as Hamas? Is Iran the same as Hezbollah? Even though previous experiences confirm that there is absolutely no trust in America or in Israel. I mean, at any moment right in the middle of these negotiations, the strike could happen. If they find the opportunity, if they find a chance to strike Iran again, and they can guarantee impactful results from this strike, they will do it. Even Russia sent a warning to the Iranians, warning them to be careful because this is just a trick, as they are preparing for a ground invasion. But the strange thing is, how will this ground invasion happen? We talked about this topic earlier. If the American forces in the region are a problem, whether it's 50 or 60,000 soldiers, is this number enough to carry out a ground invasion of Iran? No. Not at all. We've talked about this repeatedly. For America to carry out a ground invasion in Iran, it would need at least 1 million soldiers. And before all of that, it would need the approval of the US Congress. Time is running out quickly. There's no longer enough time to carry out a ground operation or to complete this war, to finish this war, or anything like that. Soon, the US Congress will intervene to impose an end to the war. So why is Trump sending an additional 10,000 soldiers? In reality, there are statements and there are decisions that are never actually carried out. It's all just failed pressure, obvious pressure. They think that Iran will be afraid of 10,000 soldiers, or will be afraid of an additional aircraft carrier coming, and therefore will give in to Trump's demands, which are originally Netanyahu's demands, and will give up its previous conditions. What's strange is that the Americans, despite everything that has happened and despite all the signs and reports, are still dealing with the Iranian issue foolishly. They still think that Iran is Venezuela or Cuba or one of the Arab countries that can be subdued by such things and threats. Even America's pressure tactics no longer have any effect today. They've run out of cards to play. What next? After everything that has happened. I used to hear that you put pressure by striking Iran, so what happened after you struck Iran? Iran taught you an unforgettable lesson. You used to threaten to assassinate Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, and you did that, but what happened next? Another Khamenei came after him, stronger and more resilient, so what happened next? Will sending 10,000 soldiers make Iran submit? Honestly, it's really strange. There's a statement from President Trump, he was with Fox News, where he said that Iran was going to take over the Middle East, and that he was the one who stopped them with this war. Anyone who follows international affairs, this war and its outcomes, will see that the opposite is what actually happened, especially in the Arab world. He used to say earlier before this war that Iran was a friend of Israel and a friend of America, and that all the strikes between Iran and Israel were just theater and nothing more. It turned out that this war is what exposed the hidden truth. It revealed this reality. It showed that the friends of Israel and America are the Gulf countries, while Iran has gained a lot of popularity in the Arab world today. And it became clear that Iran now, after this war, will be the dominant power in the region. And it is now the one that will control the region after this war, not before the war. The war is what brought about all these changes for Iran. Trump also said that Iran was about to acquire nuclear weapons. He said they only needed a month to get nuclear weapons, and then he said they only needed 2 weeks. And the director of the International Atomic Energy Agency denied this. He said this was not true at all. So it's clear that Iran was probably far from acquiring nuclear weapons, but this war is what has brought Iran closer today to acquiring those nuclear weapons. And maybe it's what will actually make the gap just 2 weeks. Because Trump always says the opposite of what's really happening. Trump also said today that the American naval blockade on Iran is successful. While today all indicators confirm that Iranian oil tankers are passing safely through the region, which means pay close attention, this is meant to justify Iranian oil reaching China. What did he say? He said that China does not send weapons to Iran, meaning that it does not send weapons to Iran, so it is permissible to allow its oil tankers to pass. But I explained to you in yesterday's episode, China sent strong warning messages to America, rejecting any possible interception of its ships in the region. China told America clearly, beware of intercepting these ships in the region. She said that China has trade agreements with Iran, so you cannot prevent that at all. Today, Chinese ships leave the region however they want, without any interception from American forces. You will never find this information on these news channels. But Trump, to justify this, what does he say? He said today that China does not send weapons to Iran. What Trump says means one thing, but the reality is something else different. All of this is happening amid a remarkable Iranian silence, because as you can see, dear viewers, the leaders of Iran are maintaining a strange silence. Honestly, they are not making any tweets or statements today to confirm that Iran is breaking this blockade, or that Trump's statements are pointless. There is absolutely no blockade or anything like that at all, even though during the time of war, Iran's leaders used to make statements almost every hour. If Ghalib was silent, Abbas Araki would speak. If Araki was silent, the Iranian president Pezeshkian would speak. If Pezeshkian was silent, then the advisor of Mojtaba's office or the head of Mojtaba Khamenei's office would speak. And after that, Dolfagar or another commander in the Revolutionary Guard would speak, and so on. But today what's noticeable is that there is a strange silence, honestly. And I believe this silence comes in response to Pakistan's demands. Pakistan, asked Iran to do whatever is necessary practically on the ground to break this blockade and so on in practical terms. Do whatever you want, but just remain silent, don't reveal it, don't go public with it. In the media, because they want to maintain the calm, they want to reach an agreement. So, in order for this calm to continue, they ask Iran to let Trump say whatever he wants, while on the ground, Iran can do whatever it wants. The important thing for them is to remain silent to avoid escalation in the region. So even today, when an American MQ-4 reconnaissance aircraft, which is considered very advanced, was shot down, it is worth $240 million, and America only owns 20 of these planes. Despite the importance of this incident, we find that Iranian officials, whether political or military, did not talk about this achievement at all. They did not make any statements, even though what happened is considered a new achievement for the Iranian forces. Unusually, the topic was only covered by Iranian television, with the only statements coming from there, even though America acknowledged this incident, so the only statements made by the Iranians were simply meant as a message. A warning that any real blockade imposed on Iranian ports will be met with a decisive Iranian response. So it's clear that the American blockade Trump is talking about today is just a fake blockade. A fake blockade that came as a response to the failure of the first round of negotiations that took place in Pakistan. In other words, it's not really happening today. When these negotiations, or this first round of negotiations, failed, it was necessary for Trump to react because of the Iranians' stubbornness and Iran's refusal to accept these American conditions. So it was necessary for Trump to respond. These negotiations can't just end like this, without any reaction, without any escalatory step. So Trump was faced with the option of returning to war again, but resuming the war is not in the interest of, nor in the interest of Epstein's alliance, which has truly suffered a lot from the Iranian missile strikes. That's why Trump came out with this fake blockade as a response to the failure of today's negotiations. And this is something everyone should pay attention to. Arab media outlets might be participating in this lie, because today Arab media are talking about numbers and data, like for example that there are 20,000 sailors stranded in the Persian Gulf region, that there are hundreds of ships stuck in the region, and they talk as if they're stranded because of Trump's blockade, but the reality is they're stuck because Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. They've been stranded there for more than a month, not just recently. So the media is trying to divert attention, trying to mislead people, claiming that the crisis in the region is because of America's power, not Iran's power. That's how they're promoting it, but the reality is completely different. Today, they're talking about being close to reaching a historic agreement. Trump's deputy J.D. Vance made a statement saying that the reason for the delay in announcing the agreement is what? It's that America doesn't want a small agreement with Iran, but rather wants a major deal with Iran. Such a statement might explain to us why such a large number of negotiators were sent to Pakistan. From the very beginning, about 80 people from each side, including legal experts, military personnel, economists, intelligence officers, and so on. It's clear that America now really wants to do it, to make Iran its partner in the region instead of the weak, submissive Gulf countries. It's clear that there are specific disagreements, as I explained to you in previous episodes. They're limited to 2 or 3 points. So if these disagreements are overcome, there will be an agreement. And if they're not overcome, we'll see other developments in this matter. So now there might be negotiations tomorrow, God willing, so we'll see what exactly happens in the next few hours. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. See you next time.